on the planet and go,
Right.
you're both dogs. All right.
Right.
You're never going to be a Chihuahua. You're never going to be a Saint Bernard. But then we look at humans and we're like one size, one color.
I
It's
love
crazy.
that.
My Babble buddy for the
First
day is
episode
a woman that I
of-
have
First
literally
episode.
grown up alongside. She describes herself as an evolving woman, which I love. She is a wife and mother, a daughter and a friend. She is a writer and a storyteller and a poet. She is the host of the Coolest
Hey
People
guys,
podcast.
it's Sherry here at the
She's
Bubbly
one of my
Babble.
favorite people in the world.
This is one
Please
I'm really
welcome
excited
to the bubble.
about. So this is going to be the
Kristen
first
Bailey.
episode of
I
what
love
we
it. To
are
the
going
bubble.
to call
Welcome.
Terry
I'm so
and
happy
Sherry.
to be here.
So Terry and
Yay.
Sherry
Thank you
is
so
the
much for
story
coming.
of my
I'll just
mom
say
and
that you have
I,
been a person that I have
and seeing
I've
what
known
sticks
since I was
and
very
trying to have
small. We
a
did daisies
better mother-daughter
together, I think is
relationship.
what
And
that
you know
blue
what?
vest
Some
was.
of that might resonate with
And
you
we played
or somebody
softball
you know.
together and cheer and
I
drill
think it's
team and
just
all
so
the
important
things.
that
And
we
I have
remember that
watched
life is a team
you
sport.
live
And
life in a
so,
really beautiful
my mom and
way
I are doing this thing
out
together,
loud, which is really
and
scary
you know,
to do.
I thought it would be a great idea to bring you guys along
And
for the
I'm
ride.
just so proud
because
of you
if
and so
something
proud
helps
to know
us,
you
who
and
knows?
to
Maybe
have
it'll
you
help
as a
somebody
friend,
else.
no
So this
matter
is
how
episode 1.
time goes.
It got a little long,
And
so I
I'm so
You
went
make me
ahead
so
and broke that into
emotional.
2 episodes.
You make me so
for
emotional
you.
when you talk about
And
me
so
because I
this
just
is
don't
going to
see
be the
myself the
beginning
way
of
you do.
that, and
I
I'm
do,
having
but I
a
don't.
wonderful
But it's just
week.
so weird when you've known
And
someone your whole
thank you for
life, you
tuning
know?
in.
yeah,
And
but that's
we're gonna
part
get
of it,
right
right?
to
Like
it.
that's part of
Here's
why I want
Terry
to
and
have these
Sherry jumping
conversations
right in.
because
Try not to
I
sound
think that it's
boring.
easy for people to lose
You
sight
don't have to
of
worry about sounding
the
boring. You don't have
magic
to
that
worry
they
about offending
have
me.
in
That's
this
the really important part.
kind of
You'll probably say
shadowy
things that'll hurt
world,
my feelings,
you know?
but that's
Right.
I
No.
probably won't.
I'm already emotional. You already made me cry. Like we haven't even
I'm
talked about
sorry.
anything. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. No,
Well, I mean,
literally.
that's everything I
I
say
know
hurts
your
your feelings. I know
history,
it'll be different.
but for my listeners, I know
Yeah.
what's your
That's gonna
history
be-
and relationship with living a public life, and
So
what
how
was that
would
about?
you describe
It's
a
weird, and it's
relationship
weird to answer that
just
question
like over
now.
the years?
Like in retrospect,
Oh.
I
Like if
always
you were just
say,
telling someone
um,
about our relationship.
they didn't prepare me for the
that
day.
used to
Like
be
my
very,
kids and their
very
friends
close.
could
What did it look
Google
like when
me.
we were close?
Whoa.
What do you
And
remember
thankfully,
about
like pretty much
our
everything that I put
relationship,
out is
how
some
we
sort
would
of like
relate to each other
empowerment
when I was
something.
growing up,
But
when I was a
like,
teen,
I
when
grew
we
up
got
on the
together?
internet, and
we
I've
were
been
like
saying that
besties
lately.
until
Like,
you,
I'll be 38
branched out,
next
and that was
month,
the right thing
and
to do.
I
And
started
then,
out. I mean, we're
I
millennials,
think
right?
like
Like
the first time that
we made the
you
internet.
hurt me was
We
when
are
you
the
wouldn't
only
let me go to
generation
your
that we were in the
21st
middle of our
birthday party.
childhood and
I know
our
all my
adolescent
friends
years.
are
Like we
always
were just
invited to their
becoming.
child's
So I
21st
got
birthday
pregnant
party.
my junior-ish,
That, and
senior
then we
year.
went,
So I don't know what
well,
year it
you're
was,
making our friends,
but
and that's fine.
one of the
That's all
years
good,
I
but
ended
that
up pregnant with
didn't
my
mean
oldest
that
after I
you
had my
showed
daughter.
everything you
Like,
had.
like I'm gonna
So
lose this
it
weight
felt
once
to
and
you
for
like
all,
I'd
and like I'm gonna
abandoned
be
the
a healthy
relationship
mom,
that
and I'm
we
gonna
had.
do all
Not
these
in the beginning,
things.
not totally.
And so I
Yeah,
joined
but you
Weight
did have
Watchers
your
at the
other life
time, and
too.
I
So
started
I
sharing, and
understood
I was
that a
just
lot, but
sharing
it
like
was
my
like I would
truths. So
go
I was just
visit
sharing
you
what I was
in
thinking about, what I was
Orlando, and that
going
was
through. I
always
was a
good
new
when I was
mom, and
here
I
with
I
you.
was
I
on this
mean,
diet
and
plan
then
that
it
I
was
knew
just like
well.
you
Like it
didn't
wasn't the first time.
want
It
to
just
give
was
me
the
anything.
time that I
And
was
I
felt this
had
why that was bigger than
meningitis,
myself. I
and you
wanted to
were
be a healthy mom. One thing led to another, and it
First
started this
episode,
blog,
huh?
Skinny Jeans
First
Dreams,
episode.
and that's what it was. It was my Skinny Jeans Dreams, and
And
at the
then
time
you
it was
moved
like the
in,
thick of
and
diet
you
culture,
told me that you had to leave
and
or your
millennial
marriage
kids who
was
grew
going
up
to
in the
break up, and I
90s with
couldn't
weight
figure out what
problems
the
had the
heck I was
internet,
doing. Like,
and
what did
so
I
people
do?
connected, and I was just very authentic, very me, and
So
people
when I
they
said
just
my marriage is
liked what
gonna
I had to
break up
say,
or
and
we're
like
having
had
a
a
hard
life of
time,
its
but
own.
it
It
was
still has a life
solely
of its
based
own.
on
People
you.
who
You
liked my
told me it was.
Facebook page
Well,
from
I
around
mean,
the
I
world
would definitely
wanted
say
Skinny Jeans Dreams merch.
living
What do
with
you think it
Living
was
with me.
about
Oh, yeah.
you
Oh,
and
yeah.
your
Right.
relationship
I
with
stand by that.
your
I
body
still
and
don't
that
understand that.
that spoke to
Right.
people?
Right.
I was
I get
young.
that.
I've always been told I'm like a old
After
soul,
that,
like
it was just
I'm
like,
wise
I
beyond my
didn't even hardly
years,
see you at
whatever.
all.
So
I
I
mean,
definitely
related to stuff,
connected to
like, you used to
women
invite me over
older
your
than
house
me.
all the time,
Like a lot of
and
my
then
friends at the time, a
before
lot of people
COVID
who
and stuff.
followed were women who
Well, yeah.
were
So
maybe
like
like
I would say,
my mom's age or a little
I
bit
guess
younger,
maybe I
some
should
even
answer the
older,
question too.
some that could be my
Yeah.
grandmother that still to this
I'm
day
afraid.
follow me.
I'm
But
scared.
I
I'm
think
very
because
afraid.
Okay,
we
so I
all
guess
have more or
if
less the
we were
same
to
struggles.
ask
It just wears
me about our
different,
relationship, I
different
would say
outfits,
that
different faces.
the way that I grew up, it was
But
kind of like you and me against the world.
I was a new mom. I
Lots
was
of
really
like
authentic
mommy
about
me
that. I'm
outfits
very
and, like,
emotional.
we did
I know how to
everything
communicate.
together.
I know how to write.
You know,
Yeah.
and
So,
then I
like,
went to
and
college, and what I
honestly,
remember is
like,
everybody saying,
it was a friend
"You really
thing.
gotta cut
Like,
the
these people
cord."
were friends to me, so it just became this thing
You're
where
like, my mom
I
does not call
often
me
look back
11
and
times a
regret.
day.
Not regret. Regret's not the word. It's just a
their
lot
dads
to
are at
digest
home,
when I look
or their
at
other
my like
children are
digital
at home.
footprint, so to
You
speak,
know,
and how
that is
much
true.
I've shared
know that
of
then,
myself,
you
how
know?
much
I don't
I've
even
shared
think
of
you
my
knew that
family,
then.
especially
You know,
in
and
the
then
age
I
we're
came
living in
home and
now,
I
you know.
really wanted to do
But
the
I can
college
also look
program, which
back
I
and see
did.
like there
And, you know,
were
even
women
then
that were
became
holding
a
on by a
lot.
thread that
I
were
did
coming to
come a
skinny
lot,
jeans
but I
dreams to
needed
just
that
feel
too.
seen.
I
So like,
understand.
also needed
and I
to see
still have
you,
people
but I
like
needed that.
say,
Yeah, and
I've
I
had
know
people tell
that.
me they read my
And I
Facebook
actually, I
posts
didn't
in
think even
recovery
too
groups
much of
that they
it.
lead because
I was just
just
kind
the
of doing my own
vulnerability of
thing.
what I've
Wow.
shared.
I love
As
that.
time
I
grew
love
up,
that.
Struggle now to make
I
the same
wanted to just
connection.
do
So
things on
it's
my
a
own.
different
I
world
wanted
than it was
to
then.
And
be
you said that
drunk
it's
with
kind of
my
started with
friends
doing
and
Weight
be
Watchers.
ridiculous.
So,
And
what has been
to
your
you, the
relationship
experience
like
felt
with
like I
your
just
body,
didn't
with
want you included.
your
I just
body image?
didn't
I
want my
mean, I'm a
mom
child of
there.
the
Like it
late
wasn't for
80s,
you. It
right?
was
I
really
grew up in the
personal.
90s. I was
I just didn't
overweight
want
by
my mom there.
5, so like
And
overweight
why?
in the
I
90s
just
and
wanted to.
2000s.
I
When is
just
like the
wanted to
first
be
time you
silly and have
remember,
fun with
like
my
your
friends.
first
You could
memory
not
of
have
being
fun
like,
with
my
me
body is
before?
bigger than
It's
other
not that I
people's?
couldn't have fun
Probably
with you. I
around
just
like
didn't want my
third or
mom
fourth
there.
grade,
But
I
I
Why
wanted
wasn't
to
really
my
be a
style,
started
kid.
to
remember?
like notice.
I
I
do
know
remember,
when I
but
say
I
I was
didn't want you there.
overweight by the time I
Yeah,
was
so that
5,
hurt.
I know that through
I get
pictures, I know
that.
that through
I think that people
stories.
don't
You know,
realize
like
that
there's certain memories that
every
sometimes you don't
relationship is
know
a
if they're like
relationship
your
that needs
memory or the
work.
story you heard,
Yeah.
but there's
Every
always
single
like this
relationship.
story that
Just
lingers
because
about how
you
like when I was
have the
younger and we would
same
go to birthday
blood or
parties at
DNA as a
McDonald's, that
person
I was always like the
doesn't mean you
first
have
at
all
the
the same
table
beliefs, you have
and
all
the
the same
last to leave.
viewpoints.
So
Yeah,
there's
I
like
know, right?
commentary that I don't know if
You
it's
can
like I
experience
remember
that.
being
Yeah.
that
You
or
should,
that's the
right? But
story that was
you
told
can
that
attest
you know
to
what I
that with
mean?
Yeah.
having
Yeah,
so many
yeah, absolutely.
siblings.
Do you
You know,
remember like the first time that you felt
overall,
it?
I
The
would
first
say
time
our
I remember,
relationship
like
went
my
from being
earliest
really
memory of
close
someone pointing it out was
to
when I was in fourth
still
grade and
close in
someone
high
pointed out my
school,
cellulite.
some
Wow.
separation
To
in the
look at it
college
now for what
years.
it
Yeah.
was,
And then by
because
the
like
time we moved
obviously his
here,
mom struggled
things
with it,
started
or
to feel
some woman in
strained.
his life. I
For
could still
you.
picture it. I could still smell it. Like it
Well,
had
also
such
for
an
you.
impact on me.
You
And
said that
it's
you felt
funny
like I
now,
didn't
like it
want you
doesn't,
around.
you know, like
Oh.
it's just a
Yeah,
story I tell, but like
because
it
you
did for a long
feel
time.
not feeling
But
it.
I had like a
So it
boyfriend
was
at the
it was
time,
the
and I
vibes I was
remember
getting
this
from
kid
you.
Right.
being like,
Okay, yeah.
basically like, what do you
When I
do
was
with all that
turning
cottage
nobody,
cheese or
so I
something?
felt
Wow.
And I was like,
I don't
and I
want to
didn't
try
even,
to
I
get
never,
like
I don't
too
even
hung up
know.
on
I mean, maybe I had
specific
heard cottage cheese, probably. I
situations.
mean, my mom,
I
you
just
know,
want to create
had her own
a
woes with body
base
image,
so
but that's
that
probably the first time I remember being like, damn, like you see it too,
yeah,
you
like
know?
a
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So over
preamble.
time, you
Is it
did
in a
preamble?
book.
Weight
In a
I
book
think
you
Watchers,
it's
say
you did
preamble.
Beachbody. At one point, you found yourself
Look,
on
when
stages,
two ADHD
plural,
women get
for
Oh
your
my
work
together
with
god.
and try to
Beachbody.
remember
Did
Oh
you
something.
my
win
god.
one year?
Somebody that
People
was on
have an
my team,
understanding of
somebody
kind of
that I
like who we
coached,
are. And
was
then
won the
every week we
Beachbody
can pick like,
challenge.
hey, that one time you
They
Okay.
were
don't
on
do that
journeys and we
anymore.
can talk about it.
Okay.
They
And we
stopped
might
doing that
agree, we
years
might
ago, but
not
they
agree,
used to give
but
away
you know.
$100,000.
Okay,
So I
so
won a
tell
Weight
me this is a
Watchers
hard one and it's
challenge
not
for my
about me.
transformation.
In the
I
same way
didn't
that I
know
kind of
that.
We
explained
were just
our
talking. I was just
relationship if you
talking
look
about
at
it
it
last
as a
night to my
timeline.
mother-in-law, and I
Okay.
was showing her pictures,
How
and
would
she was
you
like, "I don't even
describe
remember
your
you looking
relationship
like
with your
this."
mom?
Like
I
I had
think there
long
was
hair, I had a
one
perm,
time
I
in
was
my
like really
life where
skinny,
she was
and
not
it was
happy with
the
me.
lose for good challenge,
That
and we
she's
had to
not
like make
happy.
these signs
And it
of
was
like
when I
why
went
we
to
were
the
losing
Bahamas and I
weight,
decided to
and
have my
you know why it
girlfriend.
was going to be for
Just
good this
constantly.
time, and you know all the
And
things with
Yeah.
Beachbody. So
yeah,
like
that is
there
fun.
was a lot of like I don't want to call it fame because that's like a weird word to use, but like a lot of
So
like
I'm
I
gonna
won
look.
that. That was one of three in the
I
national
like
challenge.
that.
I was in
We
these
kept having people
communities that
fall
led
back on, and I
to
didn't have
Beachbody, right?
anything
So
for
like
that.
there was a lot of
And my
hype
mother probably
around
didn't
what was
either.
happening,
But because
and
I was
I
supposed to come
was
home and I
prior to
kept
Beachbody,
extending.
I was always like, man,
Yeah.
if I could get
Why
paid
did
for
you want to
everybody that
extend?
signed up for
Because
Weight
we went
Watchers
from
because of
I
me,
could
and
come
I'm losing weight and I'm
you know,
getting strong, I'm doing all these
because
things,
we
you know,
were
it was a
having
next,
fun.
it was
Just
a
going to
logical
the
next
beach,
right
you know,
step. I
to
was
the
already
bars.
trying to work from home,
And
trying
that's
to be
it.
with my
You
kid,
didn't want to
you
go
know,
Yeah.
and they're
hang out with
telling
your
me I
mom?
could be a
Yeah, I was a
gazillionaire,
little
you
nervous
know, and
going
set
there
up my
too.
kid for
Did
life. Like it
she
made
was
sense,
she
and I
upset
was
that
good
you
at it. I was good at
went
people. I was
in
good
the
at
first
sales. I
place?
was good
No,
at
I
fitness.
was
I
on
was
social
good
Yeah.
media for a
at
little bit.
publicity.
And
You
then
I was good at gathering. So when it came to like, we used to host a thing called like Super Saturdays. Like we started in a library and then we were eventually taking over the casino in Philly and like had 800 people and the CEO's dad coming to our events that I was on the council for planning. So like, I just applied all my skills and all my passion and all my heart to what I was doing. And I met some really amazing women, amazing women from around the world. But I look back now and like, I'm thankful for the experience. I'm thankful for the friends. I'm thankful I could sit here and tell the story. But there's also like a lot of ache that comes with it that I've moved through quite a bit of it. I used to not be able to like stomach a beach party program just because I had so much ick. Also, I mean, you're dealing with women. I was leading 200 women in the US and Canada that were like bought into my story, that trusted me with their journey. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot in a lot of different ways. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of ugly.
Yeah. How much of a focus was weight loss or your body size in your life that led to this? Like, obviously you were going to be successful at anything you did, right? But like,
yeah, 100%. So like Weight Watchers it wasn't the first time I was on Weight Watchers.
what's the first time you remember?
So oddly enough, my dad passed when I was 21. And over the years, I've been getting, my stepmom, his wife, has been just like slowly giving me his stuff. And she recently sold the house that they lived in. So it's been 16 years. And gave me like the rest of his stuff. And one of the last pieces was a cigar box with like cards, birthday cards, and different things in it.
Interesting
And
that
also
when we're
in
talking
this
about
box were all the receipts from the year 2000 for Crystal's Weight Watchers meetings.
Similar patterns.
So seventh grade, eighth grade. How do you feel about that as a mom?
I got a different set of cards with my kids, so it's always been like my mom struggled with her weight. I know that like my parents, you know, they loved me, right? They wanted what was best for me. They didn't want me to feel whatever. I understand, right? It's just, it's such a complicated thing. Like, would I have done the same thing? What would I do now? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
of course, you can't change it.
My kids got their father's genetics, but you know, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question because it's so like you can't change it. Exactly, it just was. I will say finding those receipts were like ick, I guess. Like, you know, they were seen as if like the financial responsibility, like make sure you know, like hold this in a secret compartment where you make sure that you keep the receipts that you paid for your daughter's diet, type of thing. That I was like, it did not make me feel good.
I get that. Yeah.
Even with these birthday cards that I should feel good about, but
yeah, that's something to unpack.
I'll be unpacking.
I'll be unpacking.
My goodness.
So what do you remember like from those Weight Watchers meetings, which my mom was trying to tell me? I was explaining to her that by the time I was my son's age, which is now 9, I knew that my body was bigger. I knew that it was a problem. And she said, no, that's not possible, because my dad came in and said, oh boy, you're getting chunky. And I was like, hey, we don't talk like that in my house. I didn't mean it anything by. I said, that's fine, but we don't talk like that in my house. And my mom was like, well, he didn't mean anything by it. I said, when I was in the 7th grade, you got me a personal trainer to change my body. She goes, I don't remember that. I said, okay. Well, it was at Summers Point Fitness on the corner of Route 9 and Great Bay Country Club. And
you can't even drive by now without thinking about it.
I can't even drive by without thinking about it. And I'm 38 years old. Absolutely. I said, and I got a free t-shirt and it was yellow and the guy had a ponytail. Core memory. And she went, oh, right. Like I know that our parents did the best for us.
Yeah, right.
That's what they thought was for us. And I mean, if we're being really honest, those problems stemmed from them as well. You know, they dealt with it. So now we deal with it.
So it was just the cards I was dealt.
Yeah. Congratulations. Your life is harder now because you're not accepted in the body you're born in. It's crazy. You know, I feel so lucky because I have 2 kids. One has my genes and one has my husband's. I get to do like a science experiment, I guess, where I get to let my kid be him, and we'll see where it lands, you know, because that's the funny thing they say about intentional weight loss is that, I don't know if you ever read Health at Every Size by Lindo Bacon, but it talks about weight set points and how every time you practice intentional weight cycling or yo-yoing or whatever we call it, your body sets it higher. So like everybody says, oh, well, they're just going to gain the weight back. Well, because your body intentionally slows down your metabolism. So it's a little healing for me. It's not that I'm excited, but it is healing for me to watch my son, you know, like boys do, chunk up, thin out, chunk up, thin out. And like at no point, like I see that his body is soft like mine. And that becomes like a really weird playground. That becomes like an obstacle course of like, how do I feel about this? How do I feel that he's 9 years old and in a size 14 pants? And like, they're just clothes. Do they matter? And like the crassest way that I know how to say this, I don't know, but like, I think it's very strange that we look at St. Bernards and Chihuahuas that both exist on the planet and go, you're both dogs. All right, you're never going to be a Chihuahua. You're never going to be a St. Bernard. But then we look at humans and we're like one size, one color, one eye color.
I think it's like really powerful to just, I mean, even though my kids, you know, my son's very athletic. So he's just go. Nonstop, like he drinks a protein shake and eats peanut butter and jelly and calls it a day. Like he's just, I don't know. If you meet my son, you'll understand. He's calling a free range chicken. He's all wild. He's all wild. Prepubescent boy. Like
and B, when I did,
love him to death. Got my kids the pictures right here. So I'm like looking at both of them. And my daughter is like very, very petite. She's always been petite. But I still have to mind with both of them, like how I talk about myself or food or my body or anything. Like, you know, know,
cousins were all in the same house.
my daughter recently, like, she loves sugar like any
And you think
kid.
because that's the way that you were raised, that's
She loves the
absolutely
junk
the
food
right
like
way
any
to do
kid,
it.
but she's also like 15
And I
and
think family
she cares about her skin. She cares about the way she feels. She has a lot of work on her plate, so she notices when she feels tired, you know. So she's saying, like, we went to Europe this summer. And like at the end of it, she's like, Mommy, I just want to eat clean. Like, and it wasn't, you know, eat clean is like such a buzzword from like diet culture, but that's not where it's coming from for her. But like, she's like, Mommy, I just want to eat clean. Like, I just want to feel good. And I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, I have the tools for that, you know, like, but it's definitely interesting. And I don't think there's one way. Like, I remember Shalene Johnson saying years ago, like, the way you talk about your kids' bodies to your kids is you don't.
So that is the expectation.
I love that. I love that. Because we didn't get that.
That you had.
You know, we didn't.
I constantly, like, I was always told butt and gut. You got butt and gut.
Would you say that that's how you raised
Yeah, mine was always in the hip. I was always told your life is on the other side of that weight loss.
Yes, right. It's not, but yes.
It's right. But like, I was watching
that documentary on Netflix about The Biggest Loser,
and one of the girls, she tries on a wedding dress. There was a clip of her trying on her wedding dress, and it doesn't go past her knees. And she says, I can't get married unless I'm 130 pounds, right? And it's like, it breaks my heart
but
because
I also just had a different upbringing, right? Like,
right,
I
exactly.
wouldn't say that I missed
Why?
out.
And
Yeah,
so
there are times
it
where I,
brings
like,
up the
wished I had a
conversation
sibling, right?
of,
But, like,
you know, people feel as though
I'm the
they are
person who was
treated
made up of my
differently, both
experiences.
before and
So,
after weight
if
loss.
you
So
had these
having been,
expectations of
you know,
our
because
family
at one
life,
point you were,
but also
girls
I
were
wasn't
like
given
very
those
skinny.
skinny.
I didn't
Yeah,
have
you
those
could say I was skinny.
experiences.
My head was too big
Right,
for my
and
body.
so my worldview, of course, all
Yeah,
of
like
our
there's
worldviews are
one
shaped by
particular
our
picture, and I remember a
experiences.
friend of
My
mine thinking it
worldview
was a
is totally
compliment,
different than
saying,
yours.
"You look like a
Which
rail,"
is why
like
we
as if
have
it was a
some
compliment.
perspectives on
I've
things that are
often
not
have
the
told
same.
people
When I was
I've lost
younger
lost
and you
and
imagined
gained
a
100
relationship with your
pounds more than
adult daughter,
once.
if
I mean,
you
I
imagined that at
fluctuated
all,
all
is this
through
what you would have
my
imagined?
youth and teenage years, and I played softball, and so
right
like I
now,
tried
at
to
this
stay
point,
active or whatever. And like I remember being on Weight
fine.
Watchers again when I was like a senior in high school, and I
But
lost like probably 50
going
pounds and felt really
to get
good. And then I
here,
went to
no.
college and gained it back. And then a couple years later, I had my daughter, and like, you know, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna
just the way I
lose
do
it
with
once
my
and for all.
mom.
And that's when I
And
lost
my
like
mom
the
did it
most
too.
weight,
You
and
know,
that's when I
it's
got to this place of like.
It's probably
And
old school, but
nobody
that's
like, I mean,
That's
I
what you
should say nobody,
expected.
because
Yeah,
people
right.
did.
That's
Like,
what I
people were like,
expected.
oh,
So
you're
I
gonna lose
expected
more
just to
weight or
be-
whatever.
So,
And like, there was a point where like
in
he
what
said
ways is it different?
you didn't tell
I
me
feel
when
like
I
I
was,
feel
you
like
know,
different.
fat.
If
You
they
didn't that I was
asked
too
me
fat, but
to
you
do
want to tell me
lunch
I'm
and
too
I'm
skinny.
asking
Like,
to
let
do
me
it,
be
you're going to go
me.
to them, you're not gonna come
And
to me.
Did that feel like
Probably
it was
right.
never enough?
yeah,
And why?
yeah. I felt like
At this
it was
moment,
always
I
a
can't,
topic of conversation. I still
guess
feel like
why.
there's
It
certain
just
people in my
depends on
life
what
that
I'm-
cannot
what I
be
wanna
around
do.
me without
So,
without
yeah, what
justifying what
aspects
they're
of our
eating,
current
telling me
relationship,
what diet they're
the way that
on.
it is
There's
right
like a few
now,
specific
do you
people that I'm like,
appreciate?
can you talk
That
to me
we
about
talk.
anything else? And maybe it's just
That
them,
I
but
get to
it's
see the
I always
kids
felt
a
like
lot.
people around me at that time,
We
especially,
went
were
on
like, don't
vacation
judge me
with
for what I eat, and I'm like, I'm not.
You know?
What part of our relationship do you
I'm
wish
not.
could
But
have
yeah, I
improved?
mean, the
Again,
world
me
treats you
being,
differently, I
like,
feel, just
above,
moving through the world.
Yeah.
How
I need you
men
to
respond
come
to
to
you,
them
you
first,
know,
yeah,
is
and
different. How I respond to
I
myself
just,
was different,
depending
right?
on
So, like,
different things, like,
everything,
for
I'm walking with a
anything,
different strut
but
in my
it's so much
walk,
better
and
than it
So tell me
was.
about your relationship with your
Do
body
you
now.
think
How do you move through the
within the
world? Do you
confines
think
of our
about your body
relationship
as often? Do you think about what
there
you're
is
eating?
any improvements
yes.
that, from your perspective, you can make?
Oh, I'm sure. I
Okay,
just
so
don't know what
going
they
back a
want.
couple
Like, when my mom
years,
would
I
get
had gained
mad,
so much
I
weight,
didn't know,
and I weighed myself
like, what I
constantly. So
did.
it's not like I didn't
So
know
if you
that I
don't
was
know
gaining the
you're
weight.
doing
We'll go
something
back
wrong,
to like
you
how I
can't
got
fix
too
it.
skinny and where I was mentally,
What do you
because I
think you
ended up,
got
you know,
right?
gaining weight after
Yeah,
that, had
I
another
think
baby
that
and whatever. But
you are
there
who
was
you are
something
because
weird
of,
that
how you
happened
were
to me
raised,
in that
and
season, and
then
then it was fine.
positive
It was
things
like,
that we
okay,
tell you
you can swing the
growing up
pendulum
all through
now.
your
And so
life.
from that point,
So
did
you
you
knew
do another
that anything
program?
that
Did
you
you?
I can't. I have
I did
yet
my
to bring
mother right.
myself
You
to
think
be
you're
able
your
to.
mother right?
Yeah.
But
Took care of her.
I don't know,
Okay.
COVID was still going
What I was
on, and then
supposed to
like
do,
I
but
lost my
Where do you think that
stepdad. My
mandate
stepdad
came from? Where do
passed,
you
and
think
you know,
that the
grief will do a number on
responsibility
you. I spent some
taking care of
time.
your
I
mother
haven't
came
really
from?
talked too much about this publicly, but I
Our
spent some
family
time
was always
separated from my
taking care of
husband.
each other. It's what you
We just
did.
were
You
like
didn't
taking
think about it.
a
You
deep
just
breath.
did.
Like life
Do
had
you
been a
think
lot,
you have a
and
different
during that time,
perspective
during that time by myself
on
with myself,
what a
without any
mother-daughter
level of like
relationship should
performance,
be
just me
now
and me. like
than you
I
did
really
20 years
got
ago.
in touch
20 years
with
ago, you
my
had
body
children.
and myself
I'm
and how
just
I feel
asking.
about myself and what it means to
Yeah.
love
When do you
myself
think you
and all these
stopped
things.
thinking
So
of your
like I
child
lost
as a
weight and
kid?
people constantly were like, and this was like just recently, and like I'm happy to say like my husband and I are together. We just needed a minute.
I said, hey, baby,
Love
at the
that.
pool.
I love that.
I'm not a
I
baby. I
really
said, you're
needed
my
that
baby.
time
You're
to
my
fucking
grandbaby.
figure
You're
out
my
who
baby.
Crystal is.
You'll always
I
be my
lost a
baby. You'll
lot of
always be
weight.
my
I
mother's
lost
baby.
natural
But
weight for the
I would
first time
say,
in my
so in the
life.
same
And
way that
I would joke
you're like,
like every time I
haha, you're
have like
always
a
my
big
baby,
release and
right?
cry, I lose 5 pounds.
I feel
But
like
that's what
there
was
came a
happening.
time in my life
But
where
I was
I wanted
healing.
to
I was healing. I
Yes.
was dealing with
fly on my
myself. I
own.
was embracing
I
my
just wanted
body in
to.
such new
But
ways
why?
because I had
Why
all
would
this
you
time to
need
like
the
be with
need to
me
want
and
to
like
do
really
something when we're
learn
already
me
been
and
like living
understand me and
together?
like
Why would
make
you
peace
need
with
to?
my stomach and like
Like
make
I
peace with
feel
my
no, there was
arms and
no
do all
need
these
for
things.
that.
So
I
like,
wasn't
and on
living
top
with
of
you.
that, I was also
I
like trying to
wasn't
do new things for
burdening you.
myself.
I
I'm
might
like,
have called
okay,
you
can
too
you
much if
in this
that
space,
bothered
can
you,
you break
but
some
there was
habits,
no
right?
need
Like
for you to say I
you
had a plan.
know that
You weren't in a
you
nest
eat
at
for
that point, so
comfort.
why did you
Like
feel the need
you
to
know that
fly?
you
Well,
overeat
I mean,
and
I
you
was
can
in a nest at
recognize
one
in this
point,
space, you're
Yeah.
seeing it,
and
you're doing the
I
work,
feel
you're
like
Went to
going to
college
therapy,
and
you're
that's what
doing
you're
the healing, you
supposed
can
to.
see it for
yeah.
what it is. So can you
And
do
then I
something
tried to fly
different?
a little more
Can you
and
make
went
a
a little
different
bit
choice
further.
And
when
then
you
came
go to
home.
get thirds
You
or
remember
whatever
why I
the
came
case
home?
is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, like, and so
I
I
don't
was just
know.
giving it
Well,
little
you
by
went to
little,
you
and
went
I
went to
just, and people are like,
Stockton.
"Are you taking Ozempic?
Yeah,
Are
but
you
you
doing this?
remember
Are you doing
why?
that? How are you
You
losing
said
weight?"
over
I'm
my
like,
dead body.
Oh
and I
yeah.
just kept saying I'm
So
taking care of myself.
from
Oh,
my
here's a question I
perspective,
never
it
even
felt
thought
like
of
every time
before.
I
Do
tried to
you
do my
think
own
that
thing, it
spiritually
was like, no.
our
Like what?
physical body can react
Move to
to,
Florida?
or
Did I say
does
no?
react to how we
Well,
feel about
because
it
I was
and
ready
what
to
we do with
go.
it?
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to be before.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's all energy. I mean,
Right,
there's
but
so
I
many
was ready to
layers
go
like to
and
this topic alone,
Yeah, I
but
didn't want you moving
I
there.
think it's just all
what?
energy.
You
Like
came
I
to
literally, I'm going
Florida
through some transitions
and,
right now,
you
like in
know,
a
you went
cycle
crazy.
and
I
like really
watched
releasing
the
some
kids
big
go.
shit. And it
So
might sound silly
How
to
was it
somebody,
not?
but I literally
no,
looked at
I'm not
my
saying
my
that. They're
hanging,
not
my
bad.
apron
They're
belly
just,
that is
you know,
lately.
they
You asked
feel
how I
like they're
feel. I
afraid.
don't
They don't
hate
have to
it.
answer to
I
anybody.
just don't
But
feel like I
people,
need it, and I
you'll
feel like
still
it's been
answer
a
to your
protection
parents at your
mechanism for
age.
me.
Not
You know,
living
there's
with
trauma
them,
that
but
But
comes
respecting
should
with a
them.
lot
they?
of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh
food has been my
yes.
comfort to
Yeah,
a lot
but
of my traumas,
respecting and
and
having
I've
the
been through a
same
lot of shit,
perspective are
and
not
like
the
That's
same
okay, but
thing.
you have to
I really
respect what
feel
they
like our
think and don't
bodies
battle them.
So
adapt
I
to
feel like
protect
anybody
us in
even
many
even
ways.
wanting
100%.
to just
And so like
like okay,
in
there
this
are some
cycle, I feel
animals that
myself
stay with their
releasing so
moms
much,
for
and it's a
a
lot
long time,
tied to the mother
and there are some
wound
that
and
don't.
the mother
And I
wound
think
and
that
the womb
Yeah.
neither of
work,
them are
like
wrong,
all these things. And I'm
right?
like, I kind
And
of
I
just looked
think
at my
I just
stomach to be like,
wanted
okay,
to
you can go, like whenever you're ready.
stretch
Like I
my
love
wings
you,
a
but you
little
can
bit
go.
further than you
How will
were
you feel
willing to
If
let
it
me.
doesn't,
Yeah.
But it
I
all,
don't know.
but
Like
it
I'm
all,
just, it is what it is.
and
Like
you're
my
right.
Yeah.
body, I don't
But
know.
it all
I'm birthed
depends
Can
and
you say
on
nursed
that
two
one more
children. I'm
time?
very
A little bit
content
louder for
in
the
who I
microphone.
am. I do want to feel like I want to age well. I want to feel good
But the thing
aging.
is,
So
like,
like there's certain things
different
that I think about in that
people
regard. Like
fly
I'm,
and
you know,
whatever, like,
closer
you
to
know,
40
they
than I am
spread their wings and
30.
they
You
leave.
know,
We're
years
almost
A lot
there,
of
age
girl.
men that
again,
have
and
the
I'll be
same
closer
kind of
to
relationship
50.
that you
So
and
like
I
I
have,
just want to
they
feel
moved.
good moving
They stayed
forward. So that's
close,
kind
they
of where
didn't
like any
move in,
motivation
or they did
now
all
comes
that,
from, or
but they
like
just
as far
stayed
as
close
exercise
because
or
it was
anything goes,
family.
it's just
And
like
I
I just
think
need to
that
clear
they're
my mind.
really
But
a beautiful
so
thing. I don't
alongside
know.
you, I
mean,
grew
it's
up
very
fat.
possible.
Fat is no word that
It's
bothers
very
me. And I,
possible.
I
But
remember,
also,
I
you
remember
know,
JV, Summer
I
Twin
think it's really
Sharks, at least
possible
in
that
the
there was
2000s and the 90s. It was a
somewhere in
yucky
between
organization. I was a
where
great
you could have
cheerleader. I loved it. I
given
loved
a
doing
little bit
cartwheels. I
more,
loved all of those
let me spread
things.
a little bit
But
more,
my JV
and
year,
we
I
could have
didn't
ended up
make the
exactly
team
where you wanted
because
to
they
be.
didn't have a
Well,
uniform that would fit me.
I'm not a
Yeah,
mind reader.
damn.
I'm
And
not
that
a
was the
fortune teller.
reason I didn't
I
make
did
the
what I
team.
thought was
Yeah.
And
right.
the lady that was in
Never,
charge of
I
it
didn't like the move,
actually
no,
a
because it
year
was too
later
far
handed
away.
me a note card
And I
that was
had
like, I'm so
already
sorry that
been
that
through the
happened
fact
to
that I
you.
couldn't find you
Wow.
one day
I
and
mean,
lost my
JV is
mind.
like third, fourth
So
grade. You know
I
what I I
I
mean?
couldn't do that
I
to
mean,
me or
my
you, and I
whole
just
life
felt it was a
was,
better
you know,
decision for you to stay. And
bookmarked
it
by
wasn't.
weight
You
loss,
hung out
weight
with your
gain,
cool
just a
friends,
constant
Yeah.
battle
of
with my
course,
body.
you know,
And
everything.
I mean,
But
so
and
much
then you
so that
still, it didn't
I
keep
had
you
weight
from
loss
doing
surgery at
anything you
19. It is one of my
but
biggest
you know,
regrets
there
in
were
life.
just
And I got
I
thin.
would
I
say
remember
that
at one point
I just
I
didn't
was
think it was time
so
for you to
thin.
Yeah.
go that
I will
far.
still say I still
I
call
don't
that
think
hot
there ever
sherry.
would have been a
I'm like,
time.
oh, she was hot.
One
It's
of the
also
things
funny
that I
because
think,
anyone
from
that
my
I will show
perspective,
that like
it's very
photos
possible
of
I'm
like
very
my
wrong.
skinniest to, they'll be like,
But
oh,
I
and I'm
think
like,
that
come on, bro.
your
You know,
Right.
anxiety has
there
become
were
a
times where
self-fulfilling
part of
prophecy.
my long distance
What?
media relationship with
What is
you
happening?
was
So I think
envy.
that you
Really?
Oh my
had lost
gosh.
very
Yeah,
early
I
in
didn't
your
even know I
life.
was gonna say, you know,
Right.
you could do the thing that I just never quite,
And
I
I
could
think,
never
you
get
know,
my
we've
hands
talked about
on.
how you
And
always just
so
think
I
of the
Wanted
watched,
people
to be
who
sad,
are
but I
supposed to love you
understand.
don't, because now we're here, you know?
for
Right,
whatever reason.
exactly.
And one of the
And
they wrote down and
so
said, nothing you
sometimes
ever
in
do in
clinging
life will
on
be celebrated
so
as much as you
tight,
getting thin.
you
Mm.
like sever the
And
thing.
I feel like I was
You
always
know?
going to be a failed thin person, right?
Yeah.
So like even
Right,
when
right,
I,
I used to say that I worried about
right.
like the fat police coming to get me.
oof, yeah.
Yeah,
What is an example of
Yeah,
that?
I
yeah.
feel like
But I
like you said,
also
like
I
I
also know
always
that
felt like I was going
sometimes
to be
the
a
love
failed thin,
comes
like it never felt
jagged.
sustainable. It never
And
felt like something that belonged to
I
me. It just felt
inadvertently
like a
have
role
been
I
and
was
probably will
playing for a
continue
little
to be
while in
Yeah.
some
hurt
ways. And
by
I guess in some
something
ways, I
someone
don't
else
know.
broke
Like
in you.
I'm not
Well,
unhappy with where
it's
I'm at
just the
now,
way that it
right?
is.
So
Yeah.
like and not
Right.
that has nothing to do with my
Right.
size or my weight
And
or
so, like,
anything.
that's the
Just
thing. That's
where
the part
I'm
of
at.
these
The size and
conversations why
shape
I
of
think
my
they're so
body is pretty
important.
irrelevant.
Because
You know,
sometimes when
it
I'm
does
looking
still
at you, I mean, I've
dictate how
spent
people are
7,
treated in
8 years in
society. And,
therapy.
you know, I live
You
by
know,
theme
I've
parks.
I've done a
So
lot
going
of
to a
work
theme park is a
and
regular occurrence for
a
me.
lot
I'm
of
like,
reading
I
and a
don't
lot of
fit on
self-reflection
a
and
Yeah.
all of these things.
number
And
of
like,
rides. And
I
it's taken
know
quite a
a
bit of
lot
work
of
to
I
not
can
let that
pinpoint
affect my
some of the
self-worth.
reasons why I
Yeah,
am the
I
way
can
I am.
imagine.
I
Right? I
followed you
can.
and I was like, man, she's doing it. She's
I don't
doing the
think that you
thing.
have
And then I
spent
watched
much
you
time
throughout the
doing
years
that,
also learn to love your body.
which
Mm.
is a thing I
And
would
from an
love to do with
outsider's
you.
perspective, I have
But
seen the
it's
most joy
scary
from
as
you, the
well.
most
And it
authenticity
takes
from you.
some
Despite your
it takes some
incredible
give. It takes
fame or
some willing to
infamy,
be
I
wrong.
have seen
And it
all
takes
of
some
this
willing to
when
get
you like
hurt.
got in touch with yourself.
I mean, everything changed really for me when, like I said, COVID, that window for me, and after that, kind of was like this, and I kept saying I'm losing weight by accident, which is
Yeah.
not by accident, like it wasn't without intention, it just was weird for me.
Yeah.
Over this past year, like we had another loss in